Oh,
Are you kidding?
Shame on me. No, well, of course I'm kidding. But no, I'm not kidding that I didn't hit record, but I am kidding about
Here, you can
starting
get-
over. Shame on me.
Oh.
That's my technical paralysis.
I know, I'm like that too, Ken. Okay, we're gonna start here. And this is gonna be. So I have slip bucket, and you know, when I was doing really a lot of slip casting, I do, you know, a lot, but at one time I really did massive amounts, and I have a slip casting table that I built that has slats on it, and I can just turn these giant these molds, and I could had the stopper fixed from the bottom of the stick. And I would fill the thing from the top, and then I would pull the plug out from the bottom and it empty into this table that had a slats across it and into this bucket. So today, because we're, you know, we don't, just demo. So
gonna pee while she mixes it.
So here's my ball mold that I use for the cat, and I'll just cast this, and I just hope there's not gonna leak. It probably will. Okay, but this is what happens at demos. And sometimes I use a, you know, what do you call it? A plastic
Funnel.
funnel, yeah. So I guess it's not gonna leak, okay. Okay, so usually what I do is I just kind of push this in there, keep pushing it in. And it takes about, say, half an hour, you know, to make one of these, to make it filled up. And I just kind of continually watch it, and as it goes down, start to suck into the side or into the mold itself. And it's starting to go down, and I just keep refilling it until I get the proper thickness on the side of the wall. This is, you see why I shouldn't demonstrate?
Character, isn't she?
Okay, if anybody has any questions, just tell Ken and I'll try to answer it.
Or you can unmute yourself and ask straight out.
Okay.
But
So you can see how it's going down. The clay keeps going, and the water keeps going into the sides of the mold, and it absorbs the water. Sometimes I have to, after I slip cast a mold, let's say I do 2 castings on this mold. I've been waiting on a smaller mold like this. I probably could open it tomorrow, but on some of the larger ones, I'll wait 2 days before I open it.
oh wow.
And you can see it, the sides kind of building up now. Okay, and we're gonna, so when it gets to the proper thickness, I can take a knife or a needle, and I can press the sides to see how thick that wall is. And this is gonna require more time, but you can see how fast the water is absorbing into the mold itself.
You could have it sitting.
Okay, so this is one way of using these molds. And I'm gonna keep filling this, and in the meantime, I'm gonna show you this other mold. And what it is, it's the cat mold. It's the base of the cat. And
Okay, we have a question, Pat.
sure,
How long do you have to wait before you can use that mold again?
I can use it as soon as I pop it out, but generally you want to dry it out, because otherwise it takes forever for it to absorb water. So I'd say if I was going to do this ball mold, I'd probably leave it 4 days before I cast another one.
Hmm.
But you could try, it's just that it absorbs, you have to stick around the mold longer. It'll still absorb, but if you don't want to stick around your mold that long, I would wait. And sometimes when I get desperate, I'll put it in the kill. Be careful not to do things like turn it on high and leave it, because I've done that, believe me.
That would be a mess.
So you just want to put it on warm overnight and let the lid crack, but very risky.
Turn back toward power.
Okay, now I'm going to use this as a press mold. So I roll this slab out. It's about a 1/4 inch thick. And I could also slip cast this mold, but I'm an impatient person. Ken knows that. I'll wait around.
No.
Okay. Let's see, I need my knife. Let's see. Hang on.
Her knife's right there. Is that what she's looking for?
Oh, I think so. Underneath the plastic. Oh,
Yeah, I see. I walked over and found it.
it's good to have two.
If you can use a rubber band. I don't know why she was doing that, holding the knife. She could cut her slab by mistake. She did a workshop for Matt at Shoreline that I went to. It was really good.
Is that Rick?
Touch your arm. Fine. Of course, I don't have the right tools here. Hang on.
So Pat, people are using the chat and people are using the chat and they have some questions. So,
Sure.
and comments.
Sure.
Sylvia Nagy wants to know what kind of slip and clay you're using.
I have never moved my clay body for 50 years. I'm using ball and talc. It's a low fire ball and talc.
Mm-hmm.
I've used it for years. I use porcelain lately, cone 6 porcelain on smaller items, but I don't use it on these big things. I just use this ball and talc body, 10% plastic Vitrox. And I fired to my max is cone 04. And it's worked, I've worked with, big figures and stuff with it too. It works fine. But before this, I was using, I was doing all stoneware, and I was firing my stoneware to cone 2, and that worked. That seemed to work. But I didn't like the color, and I like this fine grain.
Yeah.
That I can get with the low fire. This way I can, do kind of intricate drawings with it.
There was another question.
Sure.
Alicia asked how how you seal the mold to prevent leaking when you're casting.
Usually it seals itself. If I get any leaking, I just put a piece of clay on it and just rub it in. So, oh, I'm very.
But you use like a rubber band or
Oh yeah, I'll show you belt.
tires or
I use belt,
belt.
and sometimes I use those heavy rubber bands I've seen.
Yeah, inner tubes.
Well, I
Bicycle
can buy them
tire
at
inner
the.
tubes.
I'm pretty lazy, so I usually whatever I can buy at the store, I just buy at the store. I mean, if I had to go out and find an inner tube, that would take me forever. I'm really lazy. Okay. So I just basically cut it above the mold line, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I squash it together, I think I'll put this in here. This is done. Out of the way. Put this here.
You're gonna do the other one?
Yeah.
Pat, when you made your molds,
Yeah.
the original,
Yeah.
did you create a solid form?
No.
No.
A lot of my work, I do a lot of just regular, coil build stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't coil build. What I do is I pinch it up. No, I don't. It takes too long. It's just easier to coil build or just pinch some image up. But usually, it's pretty crummy. In other words, the walls can be thick and thin.
Yeah.
Because I can be real fast with it that way. I can build. And sometimes I change my mind, like in the form of it. So it's never consistent. So it's easier if I just pinch something up that comes close enough.
So have you ever made a mold from other material other than clay?
Like what?
Um,
You mean a model?
Yeah, yeah.
A model or the mold?
Well, not the mold itself, but the model for the mold.
Oh yeah, you mean the object? Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
like if you carved it out of styrofoam or.
Well, yeah, you can. I sometimes I use real objects. Like lately, I had to have a round sphere, so I used a ball, a rubber ball.
Yeah, sure. But you didn't use a cat to make this, right?
Oh, I'm not telling you.
No cats were
I
harmed.
can't give you that secret.
There's a movie about that.
I might get arrested. That's my secrets, Ken. No, well, and the hardest part, for me, doing any kind of work is the idea. It's not so much the technique as just getting an idea and then trying to figure out how you're going to make it.
Mhm.
So the idea is the hard part for me. And then what, like I could say a cat, but what kind of cat are you going to make? Like I've never spawned a dog that I've made that I really, that I feel like I want to make several, but something about a cat that's a little bit, they're kind of bad. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Their personalities are weird. And so I like that kind of evilness in the cat. Oh,
I'm glad you
What?
brought that up because I was going to ask you about why the cat, because
Well,
you don't own any cats,
I know. Well, I used to.
did you?
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
recall.
in my first marriage,
Well,
Ken.
we're going there, huh?
Yeah. You wanna talk about that?
Okay, now I see the evil side of the cat.
Yes. Now you get it?
It all makes so much sense now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you got it finally. I don't like to spell these things out in a workshop.
Oh, this is a therapy session.
Yeah, right. Well, in a way, being an artist is kind of like therapy.
Yeah,
It is.
totally. Absolutely.
What are you doing there, Pat?
I'm pushing the features into it.
Okay.
And there's high and low spots, so I got to be pretty thorough. And so I'm taking too much time.
You
This is
take
gonna be
all
a
the
fast-
time you need.
No, but this is gonna be a fast workshop. Remember, told you I wanted
Yeah.
to make it as fast as
Yeah,
possible.
I know you wanted in and out, and
Feel it,
I,
feel it out.
I'm just thrilled we're getting a workshop. My gosh, I can't believe we're getting a master workshop here.
Oh, would you stop?
This is crazy.
Let's see. If I didn't have Jill, we wouldn't be doing this.
Well, oh gosh, thank you so much, Jill.
I'm not kidding you.
I know, I
Call
absolutely.
Jill my left brain.
No, I know this would not have happened without Jill. So
I know.
huge thank you to
She
Jill.
puts up with my
Harris.
crap. Okay. Okay, I just taking too much time here. Okay.
No worries. No worries.
So what are you doing here?
I'm scoring here.
We are watching every move you make.
It's real hard. Okay.
And why?
Why? Because if I don't, we may not have a cat. It'll fall apart, guys.
Okay.
Some of you probably might not be in clay, and after watching this, you probably never will. So
Do you
let's
need
see.
water?
I got a slip right there. Okay.
Let me put that.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Here, I'll take that. Put this here. Putting slip on the edge.
Your slip is just your clay body
Clay
watered
body
down
water.
your slip. Yeah.
Yeah.
No sodium
Nothing
silicate
special.
or anything in there. No
So-
magic sauce.
No magic sauce. No, I wish. Okay. This goes this.
Can I ask a question, Ken?
Absolutely, please.
Maybe
Is your question?
Yeah, I was wondering how you, what did I say? How you kind of got started getting your work out there. It's amazing. And I get through the university and people get to know you.
Well, gotta remember, I've been doing this racket for 50 years, over 50 years. So we
Right.
all start out the same, and the the ceramic scene wasn't as big as it is now. And so, I started as a student, and, you have shows for, at school, you get your thing. And then eventually, while I was in school, there were some craft shops in town, Pottery or Northwest Craft Center, and there was Panaca, places that you could go. During the summertime, I got into Bellevue, the Bellevue Arts and Crafts fair, and I had a booth there while I was a student. And I would do it with Fred Bauer, my ex-husband, and you just get into anything you can, and you do it you start locally, and and if there's a competition or something, enter it, and you're going to get a lot of failures, you're going to get a lot of rejections, and that's fine. Just keep working, and eventually, I went to grad school, and the more you put your work out there, the more people kind of see your work. And eventually, when you get to be my age, they'll say no. So anyway, so I don't know if that answers your question, but that's basically what happens. And I put the two molds together. And I squeeze it down.
Would you normally slip cast this?
And then I put the belt on it.
There was a question there. I'm not sure who asked, but they asked if you would normally slip cast this piece.
I have slip cast large pieces, and I think I explained that to you earlier about having a table that had slats on it. And I just put the mold up there, and I would put the plug at the bottom of the mold and prop it up with a stick. And then I pour gallons of it into the thing. And there's a big garbage can underneath. And I fill it up and keep filling it up until I got the right consistency. And then what I would do is pull the plug out from underneath, and it just drains right into the garbage can. So that's too heavy to lift.
Yeah, no kidding.
So this is just a faster way. Let me see, it makes more sense to me. Right?
Agreed.
So you just keep pulling this tighter until it. And then then what you do is you leave it. And when I slip cast, I'm going to open this mold now that I have slip cast, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm getting old, you guys. Come over here. Okay, so this is remember I slip cast this ball? Oh my God.
What?
I think I'll come back to it. Let me fill this up again.
You weren't filling it and it
Yeah, I left it. See, it's going to be.
uneven
Real-
now?
Oh yeah, but I don't want to waste it, so
Yeah.
I'll try to remember to empty it out. Okay, so then we come over here, and this mold has been here for normally if it was a dry mold, I would leave it just one night overnight. This has been left 2 days because my molds are getting, they're starting to fill. You'll find out if you use your molds all the time, they'll start filling up with some kind of they get filled soluble material, and they fill up, and eventually I'm gonna have to remake the mold. So this is taking it out, and this is 2 days. So this is part of the cap.
All right. And
Now,
you have that labeled left leg, I see.
yeah. Now, one of the reasons, like I explained to you, about that procession piece, you can't take these arms and bend them. They'll break. They crack because the clay molecules are not like, they're lined up, and it's not like hand building. So you have to, that's why you have to make all these different molds. So these are the legs and the arm. And I pull this mold that I just made. I guess I'll work on the other side. Yeah, we have to work on it. So that mold that I just pressed mold, I pulled it out, and this is what I have. Okay,
All right.
it's like magic.
Ooh.
So, so you can see here, you can see the seams on the side here. The seams, and this has been pushed in, so I have to rework this, you know, from the inside out. So we'll go on to the next portion, is where I'm going to add to this. I'm going to add the arms and the legs, and so here you'll find the next voila, the next
Wow.
cat, and the cast arm that I just pulled out of the mold. And I will put on this arm. And so that what happens is I have to clean the seams off the mold, or off the arm. Oops. And the detailing I work later. Let's see. So I try to clean this up as much as possible, so I don't have to do so much work on the figure itself. And as I said before, you know, as time went on, I knew that I wanted my figures to get simpler. I wanted to get away from the pieces that I did for the opera house piece, the procession. Just wanted to simplify everything.
How many hours
What?
how many hours did you have in the procession piece?
It almost killed me.
How many
That almost
years?
killed me.
How many years?
Well, it's a year and a half I completed it.
Wow. Yeah.
And Mike Spafford and let's see, Lois Graham also were awarded. They were they were awarded 2 murals. Each one got a mural or painting, big painting. And they kept saying, "Patty, when are you gonna finish it?" Because they wanted to hurry up and get on with the ceremony, right? They were painters. And I said, I'm hurrying. Oh God. Yeah, that about killed me, that piece. Let's see.
What is your favorite part?
My favorite part? Listening to the news. It gives me an excuse to listen to the news all day. You mean favorite part of making it?
Yeah, like decorating it when you're done, or thinking it up, the actual construction.
I'll tell you, I think it all is. It one thing leads to another. I can't figure it, because like I'll finish this piece, and now I got to figure out how in the hell I'm going to paint it, and so then you have to figure that out. So it's like problem solving. I mean, I feel like being in a studio. I love being in a studio, but it's like it's like going to a shrink. And whatever's in your head, and you just kind of and then once you get started on something, then you go say, okay, now how am I going to finish this off? And then it's just like batting your head trying to figure out how are you going to finish it, and so I can't say any part is particularly fun. it's just, it's like solving a crossword puzzle, I think.
Mhm.
It's the only way I can figure it out. But I don't know if that answers your question, but. So then I figure out where am I gonna put this arm? And this arm will probably end up here. Oh dear. I gotta get a beater. So anybody asks me my favorite tool, it's this tool. It's a stick.
I hear you. I have a few of those sticks, and they're great.
I know. And I got all these tools that that go back before most of you were born.
You seem to like the fork too.
Oh yeah, fork. That's it. And yeah, I have all these bizarre exotic tools.
Is that a 3-pronged fork or a 4-pronged fork?
It's actually 4. It's a little
Wow.
bit, middle of the road.
Sylvia Nagy also asked,
Hi, Sylvia.
and she can
You what?
speak up if she'd like to. She
I like
had
your work, Sylvia.
Hi, Patty.
Hi. I love your work.
Oh, me too. I haven't seen you long time since Love It Fine Art.
Oh, right.
My
Those were the good old days.
yeah. Just my question was, I make a lot of plaster mold, and I saw you have a large plaster mold, and the wall is very thin. Do you use a fiberglass to make stronger and more flexible for the
No,
large?
no,
No,
I haven't advanced yet.
because
Do-
then you can make it thin if you have a large mold. Just I was wondering if you put the fiberglass.
I can-
into
I
the
can,
plaster
so
mold.
how do like in a large mold, are you asking me how I make large molds without them breaking?
Yeah, because
I use
the wall
use
is very
fiber.
thin. You use
I use
fiber.
this,
Fiber,
here, I'll
fiberglass.
show you what I use. I use this fiber. I
Yes.
bought it 100 years ago.
Yeah. That was my question.
Good question.
It's
Oh,
I don't know where I bought it.
Yeah.
I bought it about 100 years ago. And I
Yes.
still have
Yes.
it.
I thought you used something because you can make thinner plaster mold.
Yeah, well, I don't use it
Yeah.
only on big stuff. If I
Yeah.
make a big mold, then
Yeah.
I will use it. But otherwise, I don't use it on smaller molds.
Yes, I know. Just a large pieces. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see, I need it.
Oh, this is Alicia. Can I just pop up? Because I'm not a ceramicist, but a more of a traditional who casts more in plaster. And we when I was in school, I haven't done this for a while, but we used to use burlap.
Oh, yeah, that would work.
Yeah,
But did you cut it up? You had to cut up in little strips, right?
yeah, like little strips of burlap in there.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, what do you call that stuff? I don't know. I bought it. I must have bought that 40 years ago, that bale, and I still have it.
No, that's awesome.
But I don't know where I bought it and what it's called.
That's so much
Oh.
easier.
Oh, God. Sorry, you guys.
At what point do you put it in the mold?
You put it in the plaster, first what I do is on a big mold, what I do is I'll put a coating, maybe a 1/2 inch thick over the object itself. And then what I'll do is I'll go, and at the end, after I mix this batch of clay, as it gets thicker, I'll stick this fiber into it and mix it up, and I put it at the very end, I put it on the outside of the mold.
Peter Rycombe asked if it was jute.
Oh, jute, that's what it is. That's it.
perfect.
Is that Peter Rycombe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peter's here.
Oh, Peter, you're not supposed to watch. What are you doing watching this?
I'm spying on you, Patty. Also, watching you work, I now understand why your back hurts so much. You're working down on the floor and picking all these heavy things up and dragging them around.
Yeah.
It makes my back hurt just watching you work.
Okay, I'm gonna put this arm on now.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm beating on.
Are you gonna put a hole from the inside out?
You know, on this one, I won't. I'm gonna just put a little hole, an air hole here and under
Got
the
it.
armpit. That's it.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to use this jar,
It's a
you know,
container, right?
right?
Yeah.
So when I put this tail on, the tail's that I put it through the wall and then I cover the hole up inside. And then I'll put a little hole on the outside.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So after I've put everything on, then what I do, I'm gonna just do this real fast because it's boring watching me do all this stuff.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I'm engrossed.
Yeah, right.
I am. I'm mesmerized by your every
Yeah.
movement.
Okay. So I'm getting this moved on and then it will be, I'll finish it off with tooling and, oh, shoot. Lost the stupid thing. Okay. Oh, Peter, you were right. It's jute. I don't know how, if I could think of it. And
Well, when in doubt, ask the fabricator.
Yeah.
ask the smart ones. And then most of the stuff is finishing it, just trying to get it right. The forms right, the curves right. And so that takes time, but because we have a magic fairy godmother here, she'll finish it up. And so then we have this. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna finish this.
Oh,
We're gonna cut this neck off. I made a line around this, and so I'm just gonna cut the head off.
Right in the throat there.
I think of my favorite person.
I have that same scar.
I mark it, usually. And of course, all this needs to be finished. Once you get this cut, you're gonna have this unevenness in the wall. So that means I have to go inside the cat
so
and I have to clean it out. All the seams gotta be cleaned out. So I will get a hair pitter. And I will clean it out. Oops, sorry. So I have to go inside the cat too and do it. But we'll just.
By the way, Pat,
Yeah.
probably none of my students would know what you're talking about when you say
What do you mean?
when you say pear pitter.
Oh, pear pitter.
oops.
Are you kidding?
Well, they haven't called them pear pitters for years.
What do
You
they
know,
call them?
since, well, they used to be a quarter and you could buy them at the, Fred Meyer, and they were pear pitters. But now they're ceramic trimming tools and they're
Oh, trimming.
$3.95,
Oh, I didn't know they changed the name of them. So I go around the seam of the head and try to clean it out as much as possible. Then I gotta go back and refine it with a scraping tool. And then what I do is I try to check this. I use a sponge to sponge off the inside of this cat's head to get all
This-
smooth.
Now, this is only because this is a functional jar. You wouldn't do that
Right,
if the head didn't come off, right? It's not
right.
necessary to seal those, the joint. It's
Well, it's not so
craftsman-
much that, it's that because you open up the jar and you look in it,
Yeah,
you know. Now, if I
Craftsmanship.
wasn't, if the head didn't come off, then I wouldn't care.
yeah.
So never look in my regular work. Pretty pathetic. Okay. And then I have to smooth all this off, make sure that this rim is perfectly is even all over, you know, because you don't want it thick and thin. So you clean all this off. You use a wet sponge. Okay, and then I refine everything. And I do the same with the inside of this pot. I do exactly the same thing. And what I do is I have this loose head and I have this. And this piece, this cat is pretty much finished except for the flange. And so I finished the inside of this. You can look on the inside of this head. Everything is finished. And the arms are and legs and tail are all on. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the what do you call it?
Flange.
Is that a flange? On the inside, which I rolled out on a slab roller. And I will cut this. Everything's really scientific. And on this one, this particular, I'm making this extra wide because I don't want somebody to accidentally knock the head off. So I make this fairly pretty big. And then I score it. The inside's all finished. And I put slip on it. Oops. Oh, let's just put it on here. Now, hopefully I have enough here. And then I'm just gonna score this on one edge. You can see how careful I am. Oh, geez. Please, Louise. Then I stick this in here. And hope the heck I have enough clay. Otherwise it'll be embarrassing. Stick this in here. Oops. Oh, I don't. Darn it.
Oh,
I'm shy about half of an inch.
Just make
See,
it a
that's
bit
because I'm
thinner.
hurrying.
do you want to roll it out a little?
No, I just take it out of here.
Okay.
That's okay. And make sure that this is stuck on there really good. Fudge on this one. Well, maybe I'll come back later to it. No, I'm gonna do it now. Oh, that makes me mad.
This is how we fix it.
This is real life.
This is real life.
Let's see. Hey, babe. Let's see this there. Okay.
Might be a wider piece from the
No, it's like, I got it.
okay.
Thanks. I'll fix it later.
Sylvia Nagy asked if you had any a studio assistant.
Do I have a studio assist? Is that what this question was?
Sylvia Nagy asked.
Oh, Sylvia, yeah, I have, Jill helps me in the office on Monday and Wednesday, all day long, from, God, 9:30 to about 4:30 on Monday and Wednesday, and all we do is office work. And then on Tuesday, Danny comes in, Danny Nish. He's been with me for 20 years. Jill's been with me for,
And he's been with you for
Um,
30 years. Probably. 30 years.
really, 30? No.
Him. Yeah.
Boston got 22. Anyway, and then Danny comes in on Tuesday, comes in at 9:30 and usually leaves around 5 o'clock. And Danny's been with me for about 22 years. And Jill's my left brain and Dan's my right brain. And I couldn't live without them. They're just the most amazing
Uh-oh.
people.
You freezed up a little bit.
It's really
there.
nice to have. I what?
You just
freezed
froze
it
up just a little bit. But
That'd be
you were saying that Danny is amazing.
And Jill too.
Yeah,
They're
well,
both
yeah.
indispensable. Yeah.
Thank you, Betty.
So Danny worked with Howard Cutler before you then, is right?
Yeah. And then since when Howard died, Dan came and worked for me, and we've been together forever.
Yeah, he sent me an email. He said he wasn't going to be present tonight.
I know,
but,
he called me just before to wish me luck, just now.
So Lauren asked what temperature you fired to. You did mention earlier, but
Lauren Grossman?
no, I think probably Lauren Kern.
Well, on the
Me.
I would say I work with cone 04 is my highest on this earthenware body, this ball and talc body, which I've used this since day one. I've never changed. And then porcelain stuff, if I do anything in porcelain, I do it about 5. So, and I used to do a lot of China painting. You know, early on, I did a lot of China painting on low fire, like on the cars and stuff. A lot of those were China painted. And I airbrushed.
Yeah, you airbrush.
Yeah, I look at some of that stuff now and I can't figure out how I did it.
You just did it. I was
I know,
amazed. I took a workshop from you in the 70s.
Really?
Yeah, it was you and Betty Woodman and Jean Griffith.
Oh, really?
And, yeah. And, you know, I was just a kid, and you pulled out the airbrush and there was like this blank, you were working on your like 2 and 3-dimensional piece, the,
The altar pieces?
yes, the altar pieces.
Really?
And, you had built this altar and there were a couple of arms coming out of it and it was just blank. There was no drawing, nothing on it. And all of a sudden you just start airbrushing and you just blew my mind.
Well, you know, I look at that work, can't figure out how I made, I really can't. I went, wow, can't remember how I did that. I'm kind of curious about the airbrush lately, I don't know why. I'd like to try it. Anyway, when you put this flange in, see how big it is? It's pretty wide. And then I'll cut it off flat. But I like to have it big so then in case the head gets knocked, it's not gonna fall off. And also I have it slightly tapered in so it slides onto the piece and doesn't get caught on the rib. So I just make sure that all this is fairly rounded and tapered in. Okay. And then I put it on the piece and I make sure that the head swivels. You know, it's still soft. I can make it swivel so it goes around because these necks get kind of, they get misshapen. So I kind of work it so it keeps sliding. And then tomorrow I'll work it some more. And then what I do is on this guy, I want to put a collar on him. So I rolled out this roll for his collar. And I'm just going to cut it in half. And hopefully, I think I have enough.
I was just thinking that. Didn't want to say anything.
I know, I could feel it. Okay. And I just score it. You see, I think what I'll do is I'll put a line here.
Did your knife go down on the floor?
Oh, I was looking for my foot. I'll find them. Okay, where's my fork?
I think it fell.
Of course, it's on the floor. Everything's on the floor.
So Patty, you were talking about your early work that you said you threw for about 4 years.
I did what?
Pottery when you were first
Oh,
starting.
I threw into grad school.
Yeah.
I love throwing. That's why I got into play.
I was going to say 4 years. You amassed quite a body of work and excellent work at that. I opened
Well,
up.
it's excellent.
Yeah, no, I opened up my Facebook page this morning, and I had a memory on there from 2019 on this very day, and it was a collection of your work. I think Ron Werner. I think he's a collector in Portland.
Ron who?
Werner. I may be pronouncing it wrong. Werner.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm getting so senile. I can't remember.
But he's got quite a nice collection of your work and
Oh, really?
some of your really early work, some pots and actually I think he's got also one of those altar pieces.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but
Huh.
and then
Yeah, I love throwing. That's how I got into it. I mean, and I had this friend who John Booker, who was in school with me. And John eventually moved to California, but I've lost track of John, but he and I used to have races. And this is when you got more advanced ceramics, and we used to, knead up 25 pounds of clay and see who could throw the biggest cylinder. Of course, he won. No, he was great. Yeah, I had a good time throwing. And Jean Griffith was ahead of me. She was in grad school.
Uh-huh.
And Jean was a real mentor to me, because she didn't, it was a man's world. And Jean didn't take guff from anybody.
No, she did.
And she was great. And she had a way of talking that be very address issues, but she wouldn't, blow you off. She was really good. She's great. So she taught me a lot. Oops. Oh, this is Megan. I will scream bloody murder. Yeah. Oh, you won't believe this. I just made it.
You got it.
I don't believe it.
Such a pro, such a pro.
Oh, I thought I had way too much. Oh God, I don't believe that. Worked. Okay, now. So I probably trap air in here and blow it off. So that's how I make the ring around the neck. And I'm gonna have to refine it. Of course. Okay, thanks, Jill. So your students have any questions?
Well, I hope they'll jump in if they do.
I was curious about the cone 6 porcelain that you use. What kind is it? I've had a hard time finding cone 6 porcelain that isn't really stiff and yucky.
It's this New Zealand porcelain. It's really fabulous. It's a translucent and it's very dense though. If you make anything big out of it, it weighs a ton. I made a cat out of it and I could barely lift it. So for small objects, it's really good.
Where do you get it?
You can get it in Tacoma. I got it at that pottery shop in Tacoma.
Yeah, I think Jillian, you asked that question, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, she's in California.
Oh, yeah. All I know is New Zealand New Zealand. It's made out of New Zealand porcelain.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
it's
Have
just,
you used the can?
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Have you ever used cone 10 porcelain and
Oh,
then just
well-
fire it lower?
Well, yeah, you could try it. Why not?
Yeah, you won't have that same translucent quality.
Right.
But try it. Just try it anyway, and see what happens. Because sometimes they'll fool you. But I kind of agree with Ken. It may not be translucent, but it may give you some satisfying, And if all you have to do is refire if you don't like it, right?
Yeah. I just find it's a lot smoother. It's really nice.
Yeah, I used
Yeah.
to take my cone 10 stoneware. And when I first got into I hand built all the way along, when I was in school, even when I was throwing, we were kind of pushed to do a lot of experimenting. And at that time I was using cone 10 and then firing it at cone 2 for this large hand building stuff I did. And it worked fine. It was hard, So there's the thing here, and I'll pull his ears. So we'll put him back on here. Shouldn't let it dry, but because we're doing a demo. I'm gonna put his ears here. I think it's that, is that right? It is. Usually I'm not as cavalier, but since we want to keep the show on the road, you know, right? Okay, keep this moving. Okay, now I gotta get some clay. So in a way, I kind of think of it as pulling a handle on a pot for the ears. Right now.
Jill, you're doing fabulous camera work.
You great?
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Told ya. It's not quite right, but we can do it later. I don't have quite the right angle at this, but we'll fake it. We gotta add more clay to it. So we're almost finished with the demo.
Whoops.
So if there's any questions, holler.
How do you finish it? Like with what, do you use terracotta, use regular
Oh.
underglazes, or how do you?
I'll show you slides right after this.
Mhm.
But I don't use terracotta. I use low fire commercial underglazes. And I used to, I was trained as a potter, and we used to formulate, you know, glazes and clay bodies and go dig down at Boeing Field and dig clay samples and blah, blah, blah. And then when I found out there was this thing called low fire glaze, I'll tell you, it's a really funny story, because nobody used low fire glazes then. And it was these old lady China painters that used to, they would get together and do China painting on porcelain plates. And people, you know, would, you know, kind of poo-poo them. And anyway, one day I was looking, here I was doing all this stoneware stuff, you know, porcelain and, you know, all the utilitarian work. And one day I looked in Craft Horizons, and what it was Peter Volkas had this piece that was blown. It was a stack trunk piece, and one of the arms had blown off in the kill. And he had put a red low fire glaze on it. Here was a black, you know, it's kind of a earthy brown stoneware. And on this broken edge, he had this blood red low fire glaze on it. And I'm like, wow. And that was the first time I'd ever seen low fire glaze used like that. And Bob Sperry was using lusters, gold lusters on his stoneware plates. And, you know, it was beautiful. And so those are the first time that I had ever seen low fire used. And then after that, I found out there's this place called Adobe Depot on Westlake in Seattle. And I ran down there where they got all the China paints, all these women got this China paints and stuff. And I found out there's all this low fire colored glazes, not underglazes, glazes. And I got really excited, and I bought up, you know, probably about 10 different colors, and brought them home and started playing with them. And that was the end of my stoneware career. All I had to do was memorize which way to turn the lid. And it was really great. I never looked back. And then I started thinking about it, I thought, well, hell, all these painters who make quote fine art, they open a tube of paint, and why not, And so I never looked back. And then I found out there was underglaze, and that did it. And I've never left it. I've just kind of pretty much used the same. So when I was airbrushing too, I airbrushed a lot of underglaze on greenware, and some of those things went through probably 4 or 5 firings. And then some things I started using China paint on them, on a fired glossy surface like the cars and stuff. All that purple and stuff was China paint. And I just have never been interested in going back. I just love the colors. And anyway, that's it, kids.
Awesome.
Okay.
Turn him
Wow.
towards.
So this is it. And let me tell you where this cat thing came from. Stefano Castellani was at the Bellevue Art Museum. And what happened, they had a show of this woman's collection of nekos from Japan. And he invited probably around 12 artists in Seattle, the area, to submit their own nekos. And so I did this one. I did something similar to this. And I just had a lot of fun with it. And so so that's where this image comes from. Okay, and now I'm going to show you that you can make multiples of all this cat, but they don't have to be the same because you can paint them differently. So we'll put the slides on right now.
Okay.
Can you
let
talk
me,
a little bit more about how you paint them? They're just so lustrous and deep. They don't just look like underglazes. They look like, you make them look better.
Okay, well, let me just show you on the slides then, okay? Or you
Well,
can
do you
look
wanna
at this
see-
stuff. This is all underglaze, the same way I did the cats. You see these pieces? They're just painted on.
Whoops. I'm sharing my screen now,
Wow.
Pat. I thought.
Okay.
Let's see.
He's going to share the slides.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is all underglaze that you're looking at right now. No glaze on it.
Are you,
Okay.
is any,
Wow.
And eventually they'll have, some of it will have glaze on. I'll have shiny and matte, areas.
Mhm. They're amazing. Do you use like the sprayer for like under her chin there where it looks all?
Yes,
Just
I
barely there.
airbrushed some of the, yes, I did. Okay, let's just show the cats now,
Wow.
Ken.
They're
okay,
amazing.
for some reason it didn't share, so I have to try that again. Back to here.
So
Share
it's
screen.
7:30.
Here we
and
go.
start at 6. Oh,
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, let me get to,
so my workshop was a half an hour longer than I was hoping.
I'm sorry, Pat.
No, I was trying to make it an hour.
We're
But
in
anyway,
your
here's-
martini time.
Right,
Cutting into
you're
your
cutting into
martini
my-
time.
Okay, so here's a finished cat, and you can see the variations that you can get off these molds. Okay, so we'll just go to the next slide. We'll go quickly, and if you have any questions, just holler. And then this one is more expressionistic, so you have more kind of brushy hair-like strokes on it. Okay, next.
I have a question.
Sure.
How do you mark off the area for color? Or are you freehanding it all, or do you have, I mean, obviously you probably have an idea of what you're going to do, but some of the patterns, like the stripes, look pretty intricate. So how do you mark off the area for color?
Yeah, I use tape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then on the fur, I just kind of, use a fine brush and just start stroking it.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty logical. It looks, what you see is kind of, you can kind of tell where I did it. Okay, next. Okay, so you can see, you could use the same mold, and use the same format, but you can see how things change. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, this is a fat
Whoa.
cat. So I've changed the body. Okay, next. Yeah, and the circle thing and this on the front is to talk about his rib cage. Okay, next.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, there's another one. Okay, next. This is a little skinny one. Okay.
So do you just have different molds for the body and then put the arms and legs, similar arms
Yeah.
and legs?
Yeah. Okay, next. This, I was getting bored. Okay, next. Okay, next. Next. And this is the last one. And it's called A Pussy in Disguise.
I saw that in a magazine. That's amazing.
And then turn it. You can the next. What he has is his hand is on the press. I think it's CNN or I don't remember what it was. And then Putin mask. And then you could turn it. Show the next slide. And his tail is a $sign. And
Oh,
it's called A Pussy in Disguise. That's it.
That's so wonderful.
So if you guys have any other questions, I guess we're finished.
Unless they, let's see if they have any.
Stop my share.
Mhm.
Oh, Pat, this has just
What?
been so wonderful. Thank you so much for.
I was hoping I could make it shorter.
I
Great,
was
thank
hoping you
so
could go
much.
3 hours, but
Where are you going?
What? I'm trying to. Oh, you're following me.
I'm following you.
I'm trying to see into your screen.
so
Oh,
she's
anyway,
going for
thanks
the
very much.
martini.
Huh?
She's going
Mar-
for the martini
You're right.
upstairs.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank
Really
you.
enjoyed it.
thank you.
Okay. Ciao.
Ken.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Betty.
you.
It was
Thanks,
awesome.
Patty.
Love you.
Thank you.